Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to be looking at Beautiful Darkness, a French graphic novel published in 2014, and in 2018, Drawn and Quarterly translated it and published it in North America. And they've had a couple, 2 or 3 editions since then. The art team on this is a duo who have drawn many comics over the past decades and done animation in France. The pen name is Carrasco. I don't know how to pronounce it. And that consists of the married couple of Marie Pommepuis and Sebastien Cosset. And Marie Pommepuis, she actually came up with the whole idea of this story and co-wrote it with the French comics writer Fabienne Velleman. And I'm really glad Drawn and Quarterly translated this and brought this over, because this is a wonderful, wonderful graphic novel. This is another generous donation from the Archibald Gernsback Foundation in Canada. And that, not only was it very generous and great that they sent it to us, to the Academy, but I knew nothing of this. It just came in a box with all this other great stuff, and I was like, what the hell is this? I thought it was like maybe a YA graphic novel. You know, it's all drawn in this very cutesy children's book style, as you can see by the cover. But it is not. And it even starts that way. And it definitely is not. It is, it's like a great, bleak, like, I don't know, Swedish film or Dutch film. It is kind of, it's kind of harsh. Just the way I like my fiction. Really beautifully printed by Drawn and Quarterly. Very substantial. This is just a really all-around great book. We have nice end papers here, looking even more like a children's book. Little spot illo. And so the graphic novel starts off. We see Aurora with her little friend Plim, and she's awaiting her gentleman caller Hector. It's their first date. Right off the bat, we can kind of tell that Hector's a vainglorious peacock of a man, but Aurora's gaga over him, and he seems to be taken with her. Aurora has her friend Plim here. Kind of interesting how most people in this comic are drawn kind of, you know, like from a children's book, you know, kind of cutesy, like little pixie people. But she's drawn like, you know, she could be Nancy's cousin, like a comic strip character. A totally different style than anyone else has drawn. I guess there are a few characters in here that do have a different style, but Plim is very distinct in her artistic style. So the date seems to be going well. And all of a sudden, though, this red liquid starts dropping down from the ceiling. Bigger and bigger blobs of it. Pretty soon they're alarmed, and they're like, holy shit, the whole roof's coming down. And it's all this bloody looking gore stuff just falling in giant patches. So Aurora gets separated from the other two, and she has to claw her way through this bloody goop, this red goop, and she finally comes out into the rain. She loses her footing, falls into the mud, and we see, for the first time we get this glimpse, we see where she just came out of, and all these other little pixie people are coming out of too. It's the face of it looks like a dead girl. And here we see the pixies coming out of the nostrils. Other people are falling out of the mouth. And as the camera pulls back, God, this is such a stunning page. We see It is indeed. It's a dead girl. No explanation why she's dead. No explanation why she's been housing hundreds of pixie people within her body with no ill effects. Maybe they killed her. I don't know. After 8 years, she finally couldn't stand to have these pixie people live within her. But the art in this is just amazing. Look at that. That is incredible. Such a striking image. When I turned the page on there, I like audibly gasped. I was like, what the hell? Because I was thinking, is this some like little cutesy YA graphic novel that they sent? But I realized, there's definitely something else going on here. So we get a title page. And we see the next morning. And it's a beautiful forest. Aurora pops out. And she's looking around for the other pixie people. And the first person she sees this woman who she doesn't know. Her name's Jill, I believe. Jane. And Jane, just from the get-go, you realize she's a strong-willed character. She found the biscuits in the little dead girl's bag, her book bag, and a pair of scissors. And Aurora says, that cookie looks really good. I'm pretty hungry. And Jane just basically walks away and says, help yourself. I'm out of here. So Plim runs up, wants to eat all the cookies. Everyone's hungry. See, look how different Plim is than Aurora in art styles. And Aurora basically kind of takes it upon herself to like, okay, we don't have our home anymore. This little dead girl. We're going to have to survive out here in the elements. So she takes it upon herself to kind of, I don't know, become the unofficial mayor or organize things to help people. She doesn't care about power. She just wants to help everyone. She's really sweet. She gets one last glimpse of Jane for now. Jane is using a Band-Aid to tape the scissors to her back. And she has one big cookie with her, and she just runs off to the forest. She wants nothing to do with these other pixie people. So Aurora has set up this little distribution center to break up the cookie and feed everyone with the help of Plim. We meet this one character who's like a giant doll. I don't know how she fit inside the little girl's corpse. Aurora finally finds Hector, who seems just as douchey as he did in the first few pages. But he does seem to like her. But he's also just seems to be full of himself. And then she runs into Zelly. Zelly, we first see her, she hurt her ankle. She has this little coterie of friends who seem to like dote on her. And she basically seems like what people call a Karen. She's just whiny about her ankle. And I guess she was scared of this bug. Aurora shows up. She's no nonsense. She just kicks the bug out of the way. She says, don't be scared of this bug. And Zelly's like, you saved my life. And all of her coterie are around her, like fawning over her, like she's the savior. And Zelly's just like, I can't walk. It hurts too much. Because she wants to get her out of the sun. She's going to get heat stroke. So instead, she goes into the book bag of the giant corpse girl and pulls out like a notebook and puts it over her like a tent. And basically, she tells them, yeah, guys, make more shelters for everyone. So they're going to use the dead girl's books, I guess, as little tents. Man, look at this just beautiful nature artwork here. And then, as if that wasn't beautiful enough, look at that. Aurora says that's enough for today as the sun sets. God, these guys are amazing. I can't believe I've never seen these guys. Well, I haven't seen a lot of guys because I don't buy many comics because I'm always broke. Once again, thank you, Archibald Gernsback. So whenever they draw, the dead girl, it's always just this beautifully realistic style, and it really just blows my mind how good they are at this. Look at the deep, rich colors of this night scene here. We can already see that some of the books have been turned into shelters. And this night, basically, they discover what a cat is, because they were always inside of a little girl's body. And so this cat is stalking through the camp and grabs one of them. Well, we just hear their screams as the cat runs away with this pixie person in their mouth. I'm sure they're going to play with them for a little while. Oh, this art is stunning. Look at that. Amazing. So we meet various of the characters. There's this basically group of kind of like roughhouse boys who are, I don't know, just always kind of like being boys, kind of torturing bugs and stuff. And there's one of the pixie people doesn't want to leave the corpse. She just hangs out next to the corpse, eats the maggots off of her flesh. Kind of insane. That's her right there. Now we meet another character, and this is Timothy. And Timothy always has like this Veronica Lake haircut covering one of her eyes. She finds a little baby, and she says, "Oh, I'll take care of you." This well-drawn mouse here is spying on her. So everyone's hungry as hell. Aurora's doing her best, trying to find berries for everyone. It almost seems like nobody wants to help themselves. They're just like, "Oh, Aurora." They all look to her to feed them. Here's that big doll girl talking to two of the other little pixie people. And she's going on about how hungry she is. And they're also talking about how they don't want to eat maggots like the corpse girl. The little girl the pixie person who likes hanging out with the corpse. And then all of a sudden, the doll girl just grabs one of these pixie people and throws her in her mouth and eats her. The other one says, "What did you just do?" And the doll girl just says, "Want to play? Look, it's like I'm pregnant." And then the other one just laughs and says, "Haha, all right. I can feel the baby move." It's not a baby, it's the little pixie person she just ate. So just right now, we're all of a sudden we're realizing like this is gonna be way darker than we thought. This story kind of reminds me of like Lars Von Trier, just like showing how cruel people can be to each other, and how casual it can be, and how things can change. You don't even notice it. Where everything's great, and then it's like, wait, things are not great at all. So Aurora goes out to befriend the animals of the forest, and she meets this guy, Rat. Rat is in his little hovel here with all the garbage he's collected. And it's basically, he's just a rat. She's like talking to him. I don't even know if the rat understands her. He tries to block her way as she leaves, and she assures him that she'll be back. And she leaves. So it's very unsettling. Like, does he want to eat her? Or is he in love with her? Even though he's just a dumb rat? One of the pixie people has a brilliant idea. She's like, "I'll climb up to this bird's nest, and I'll wait for the mama bird to come home and pretend to be a chick, and the mom will feed me." And the mom comes home, and she does. She shoves a fly down her throat, and then she just rams her beak in. And look at this. Her face is completely bloody. Like, it looks like her throat was ripped out, I think. And her friends are just casually watching, saying, "Oh, that wasn't such a good idea." So, oh man, this is just getting harsher and harsher. We see those mean boys. They break the leg off of a ladybug. Then they're like chasing it, saying, "We want the other leg." So they're just like a bunch of mean boys, So Aurora meets Timothy and befriends them. And she says, "You should come back to the camp and join us all. You're out here by yourself with the baby. And she says, no, I can't. I'm different from the others. Something bad would happen if I came back with you. So Aurora leaves and says, well, you're always invited. I love this. Every now and then you can just see the corpse of the giant girl. She's slowly decomposing in the background. It's just a landmark to them. So we see more of the antics of these little characters trying to feed themselves, getting in disputes. And we see Hector again. And it seems like they're still a couple, kind of. But she's always busy taking care of everyone. And he's always busy supposedly hunting boar, which is like ridiculous. He's not gonna, he's a little tiny character. Did I skip a page? No. See how different Plim is? I love her design. And I always see Zelly, the one with the hurt ankle, and it seems like she's getting really full of herself. And all of her little clique of friends, they just dote on her like she's their master or something. It's never really spoken what hold she has over everyone. But she really is just a weird, interesting character. How she just has these 4 or 5 pixie girls who just do anything she wants. And we can see the change in her as Aurora goes to talk to her. You know, she was all worshiping her for saving her earlier. And now she's just kind of like laughing at her and just kind of ordering her around. One of the characters has touched some kind of poison oak and is swelling up. As the story progresses, you see her getting worse and worse. It's spreading throughout her body. This one happy little character sees these ants and she's just observing them, thinking they're cute. And then one of them just grabs her and they all pile up on her and take her down to the anthill to obviously eat. So it's so interesting the way this story juxtaposes these like amazingly cute little, you know, like children's book characters with just the harsh realities of nature and the brutality of nature. And then one day Aurora's bathing and she sees a giant man, you know, a real man. And of course to them it's like a giant. She can barely see him through the sun is like blotting him out. That's how high up he is to her. We realize more and more that Plim is kind of monstrous. She has no morality at all. She's a complete sociopath. Here's that woman who touched the poison oak. Look at her. It's spreading to her face. She almost looks like she's turning into the Hulk or something. A lumpy Hulk. Man, look at this page. So the giant corpse girl is really decomposing a lot now. Just flies everywhere. Oh, man. Just seeing the realistic style. So beautiful. Look at this. Such gorgeous art. The colors, everything. Here we see that weird girl who likes to live in the corpse. Sorry, guys. Still sick. And I love this image of her looking out of the skull, the eye hole in the skull. That's her window. We kind of see all the characters and the lives they've made for themselves. And now we finally see Jane again. Is that her name? Yeah, Jane. It's weird, like Jane is chopping the wings off this bird and asks Aurora for help. She says, grab the scissors, chop off his wing. No explanation why. And then Aurora says, you're going forever now, aren't you? And she says, kind of seems like, yeah. And she just walks off into the day. And just almost every page is just a little vignette, little story about all these characters. A little gag, maybe. So Aurora throws a party. She's going to throw parties inviting all the animals of the forest and all the pixie people so they can all get together and meet each other. And now we finally Timothy, who has been kind of hiding out. One day Zelly and her little crew meet her, or them. And Timothy just wants to get away. And they're like, oh, Zelly's like, let me do your hair. She grabs her hair, and we realize why Timothy's been so scared to be around people. She only has one eye. That's what the hair was covering. And to her worst fear, Zelly and her crew, they're just like, they say, and we thought you were normal. So as much as she's hated herself for this difference, it turns out Zelly does too. And Timothy says, I'm a monster. I don't deserve to live with all of you. And Zelly says, that's true. I've got an idea. And they basically bury her alive in this pencil case they find in the book bag of the giant corpse girl. And she's just totally happy with her job there. And then as they leave, the baby that Timothy's been taking care of is just abandoned. They just leave the baby there, who'll probably die. So the big day comes for her party. And of course, the animals are just animals. They don't even understand what she's talking about. And none of the pixie people have showed up. I think maybe like 2 of them have. But Hector's not there. Even what used to be her best friend Plim isn't there. And then the animals just freak out and start eating all the food. Because she's saying, oh, let's wait. We have to wait. And the animals are just like, fuck that. And they just cause a huge mess. And one of the animals even pees on her table. So now we're back to Zelly and her coterie. And Aurora shows up. And she says, oh, the party was terrible. The animals ruined everything. And then Zelly says, oh, I know you're most bummed about Hector not showing up. You know how boys can be. You know what? I'll go talk to him. Maybe that'll reassure you. And I bet you know where this is headed. She even says, don't thank me yet. You never know with me, men. And then it seems like it's the next day, maybe. And all of a sudden, Aurora hears this hubbub. Everyone's running to the certain spot. And they're like, it's starting, hurry. Come on. So Aurora starts running toward with them to see what's going on. And it's the wedding of Hector and Zelly. And everyone's happy as a clam. They're like, wee, what a great day, this great wedding. And of course, Aurora's crushed. That's a nice spread. So Aurora's, she's pretty crushed. The mean boys basically captured the rat that peed at her party, peed on her table. Well, that's the rat from the beginning, too, that she went to visit. And Aurora's scolding it. And she's like, you ruined my party. And then she takes her thumbs and she gouges the rat's eyes out. So the mean boys chase the mouse down because he's still alive. And they capture it. And then everyone sits around just eating it raw. After everyone leaves, Aurora comes down, eats some of it, and then takes the mouse fur. And now we see Zelly and Hector in marital bliss with their little, whatever, handmaidens. And Zelly is just she's totally lords it over Hector. Hector goes onto this little raft to rescue one of her ribbons. Zelly insisted that he get her ribbon in the water. And this bullfrog swallows him and kills him. He vomits him up, half digested. Of course, Zelly just says, does he at least have my ribbon? She doesn't give one iota of a shit that Hector just died. And so now Aurora is wearing this mouse fur. That's her new outfit for the rest of the graphic novel. I just can't get over these scenes of nature. So good. Oh, so I guess Aurora finds Jane. And Jane still has that wingless bird as her, kind of her mount. And she says, yeah, you found me in this cabin. I've been living in the giant's house. He's right next door. Can't make any noise, though. So she looks through this crack in the wall. God, look at this art here. How amazing that is. Especially after seeing this art, the cartoony children's book illustration. It just hits you in the gut. So this is that giant that you saw earlier. So Aurora's just sick of living with the other pixie people. She sees how just brutal and thoughtless they are. So she spends the winter with Jane, living in this little cottage, kind of in the shadows of this giant. So much of this is like that movie, The Borrowers. I like a lot. They barely even shine a light on it, but they're using all of these implements as their tools and stuff. Oh, it's a dime for a platter or something like that, It seems like Aurora's almost developing a crush on the giant, or at least she wants to befriend him or something. And Jane's like, don't even think of it. It's incredibly dangerous. But Aurora doesn't listen. And the next night, she goes into the giant's room and she cuts off some of his hair. Look at the coloring in this sequence. She also grabs this little light bulb type thing. And then she brings him back to her little hidey hole. And she just smells his hair. She says, I like the smell. It smells like honey. So, yeah, something's going on there. It's very weird. So now we cut away to the girl who likes to live inside the corpse, which I imagine at this point is just a skeleton. She's sharpening her spear with a razor blade. So one day, Aurora says, Jane, some people are coming. And it's basically Zelly and her crew. And they're like loudly coming. They're singing songs. And she's like, oh, this idiots, the giant's going to hear them. So there she is. And at this point, Zelly's a full-on, literally they have to call her Princess and Your Majesty. She's somehow transformed into this like authoritarian monarch that they all follow blindly for some reason. Sorry about that, guys. I really can't just shake this cold. And I know it's no fun to listen to my crappy voice and coughing, but I totally understand if you don't want to finish the video, because I'll probably be coughing some more. It just hurts so fucking much every time I cough. It drives me crazy. But I really want to get this video done. So basically, Zelly insinuates herself into this place. Is like, oh, I guess we're going to live here too. We like it. It's nice and warm in here. So Zelly kind of takes over. So I love this. So Zelly knows that her ex-friend Plim is not her friend anymore. And she says, listen, Plim, I want to tell you about a secret place. It's, but you have to promise to keep it a secret from Zelly for me, okay? And it'll be our own little secret. And the next panel, basically, she's like, here, Zelly, here's that secret place I found. Totally betrays Aurora's trust. But Aurora knew that. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping the gun. At first, we don't know that. We just think Plim's being a little jerk once again. She even says, like, Aurora was hiding it. Like, trying to get her in trouble. And as soon as everyone's inside, Aurora steps back and locks them inside. And we realize that they're inside the oven. The little, the baking drawer at the bottom of an oven. She locks them inside. And then the giant comes home to cook his own dinner. And Aurora just calmly looks on. So look how Aurora's changed so much in this graphic novel. I just can't get over these realistic depictions of this giant, how beautiful they are. Such good artists, these two. And it basically looks like Aurora's gonna settle down in the giant's house, even though he's oblivious. And she'll just admire him from afar, I guess. She calls him my sweet prince, and that's the end. Then we get like a bunch of pages of these beautiful kind of pinups. I don't know if maybe these were the covers, if they came out serialized. I don't know what these were done for. There's no information. But it's various scenes from the graphic novel and scenes that weren't in the graphic novel. All very beautiful. That's just incredible. Oh, look at that. I guess that's inside the corpse girl. Oh, and look at this. Just how beautiful that is. Some of these panels I thought were photos at first. I was like, is that a photo? That's how like skillful they are. Amazing stuff. Yeah, the more I think about this story, it really reminds me of Lars Von Trier, that Dogville movie. Just where at first everything seems so sweet and all the people seem so nice. And then they all slowly show the darkness of their souls. And more of the end papers. And that's it for Beautiful Darkness. Hope you guys enjoyed looking at this with me. I really like this book. And I recommend it highly. So thanks for watching. And hopefully I'll see you next time here at the Herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.